So, over the past 2.5 years, almost 3, it'll be 3 in February, so it's more than 2.5 years, I have reviewed a grip of controllers. And I look over at my table, which has all of my controllers as well as drawers, and I've counted. I have over 30 different controllers. 20 of them are for the Nintendo Switch. And today, I think we need to talk about excess. Now, today we're going to be talking about actually the only controllers I use. That's it. As someone who is now playing video games fully, I will actually show you the only controllers I use. That's it. And I am in the process, as I've stated before, of getting rid of every single other one by just giving them to friends and family. I know what you're thinking. What are you drinking? As you guys know, I've been under the weather. And I just woke up from like a 2-hour nap, which I feel a lot better, actually significantly better. But I wanted a coffee before my coffee, so I made myself a very cheap Nespresso. I drink Nespresso. The crazy fancy coffee guy drinks Nespresso. I don't think that Nespresso is the best. Definitely don't think it's the best. But if we're talking about like cup style, like Keurig cup style coffee, I do find Nespresso to be the best version of that, at least. And so my dad actually started drinking Nespresso years ago, and so now I drink Nespresso because every man turns into his father. Okay, so let's talk about controllers, because that is the way that we interact with our video games, and I have before me 4. And yes, you're thinking to yourself, 4 controllers, but you only have 3 consoles. Oh, you have one for the Steam Deck. Nope, I didn't get the Steam Deck. Okay, then you have one for your computer. One works for my computer, but no. I have 4 because the Nintendo Switch gets 2 and everything else gets 1. Now, why would I go from having all these crazy awesome controllers that were sent to me down to these 4? Because I am someone who understands that this specific way of me going about reviewing gear has ended me in a spot where my office is full. And so I don't like that. I also don't like feeding into, and I've never liked feeding into this idea of like, oh, more. And so I'm hoping that this can be a place where we break the FOMO. I was having a good conversation with some people in Discord. I love the Discord. It is so beautiful right now. I was talking about how I really wanted the Steam Deck. Oh man, did I want the Steam Deck? And I then realized, no, I don't. I just want to talk about the Steam Deck. And then after I figured that out, that was just 2 days ago during Cup like 14. Lo and behold, it's Cup 15, and this is the day. This is Cup 16, but on Cup 15 day, I'm like, oh my gosh, the Steam Deck's out. I was at the coffee shop with my daughter, and she was playing Super Mario Wonder on the Nintendo Switch Lite. And I was sitting there not enjoying that moment because I was too busy trying to log on to Steam to secure myself a Steam Deck OLED, because I'm like, I have to have one. And it's this stupid FOMO, dude. It like took over my whole being. I ended up not spending 20 minutes with my daughter as she played the video games, was not paying attention to her because I was so preoccupied with the idea that I'm gonna miss out on this system and I'm not gonna get the views. And that's how they get you. And even I fall victim to it still. Even though I'm trying to shift everything, I'm still, hey guys, I'm only 16 days off of the accessory gamer, this is what you should buy vibe, okay? So I'm still trying to break that. I'm still trying to establish this new habit and reaffirm this one, or re-establish this one. An espresso consumed. Let's start with where it all began. Xbox. I have done every single Xbox controller that I think is worthwhile, and I recently purchased the Elite Series 2, and I was like, oh man, if I get enough money, I even tried to make it a thing on stream, I'll buy the custom Elite Series 2. I had the Elite Series 2. I bought it from Target because I'm like, I need it to play Halo with my best friend Sandops and get after some Halo. And after playing Halo for like one evening, 3 hours worth, I switched back to this. This right here keeps me grounded. This right here is a standard designed by you guys, actually. There was a bunch of polls that I put out to design this very controller. This was achieved when I got my 10,000th subscriber, which is so special. But this is just the standard Xbox Series S and X controller. Now I have 2 of these. I will keep the other one because the other one lives in the case that also holds the X screen that I use from time to time. Although that might be going away. I might be giving that away to a good friend of mine who is actually trying to help me procure a gaming PC. This is the only Xbox controller I use, and I am going to go on record saying that this is the only Xbox controller that I find worth using. Every other controller that I've tried for Xbox isn't worth it. I've had the Hex Gaming controller, which Hex Gaming is a very, very good friend of the channel, or has been. I don't know if they're going to be after I make these coffee videos and don't recommend any products ever again. That's not true. I'll recommend products from time to time. I mean, there's going to be a product I recommend during this video. I don't recommend you going out and purchasing it, but every single controller... that's not true. There's one controller that I'll be showing you that I have not purchased, and I will tell you which one that is. But otherwise, all the other controllers I have purchased, and I can fully stand behind. In moving forward, that's how this is going to be. If there's a piece of gear that I'm talking about, it is 100% purchased. I got this idea from multiple people, but one of them was actually a coffee guy. His name's Matt Hoffman. He is probably one of the smartest coffee guys that I have seen on YouTube. If you want to learn anything about coffee that is more scientific and understand where I get some of my deeper knowledge, I have a great deal of knowledge already from working in coffee for almost 10 years, but I get a lot of my extra knowledge from this guy because he is a freaking genius. But that being said, he, on his channel, reviews coffee gear. Some of that coffee gear is thousands of dollars. And with the exception of giveaways and stuff like that, anything that gets reviewed has been purchased by him like a standard consumer would purchase. No discounts unless it's just otherwise available on the website. No retail discounts, nothing, no wholesale accounts. It is just purchased by him. I love that idea. I love it so much. And so I have made that a point moving forward, that any recommendation that happens, or not even a recommendation, but any review that may happen in this format, right? I'm gonna be making a cup of coffee, we'll be talking about stuff. Everything will be 100% purchased as any consumer could purchase. Again, if there are discounts or any sort of coupons that may exist, those will be used, of course, because I want to save a buck, but they aren't anything specially granted to me because I am a content creator. They will just be, 10 off your first order if you enter in your email address, that kind of stuff. So Xbox is taken care of. Xbox controller, honestly, this is the only controller I use for my Xbox when I do play my Xbox, which is very seldom. Let's go to PlayStation. PlayStation has, I think, only 2 3 maybe? I don't know. I can't find any third-party controllers for the PlayStation 5 that aren't, weird. I don't know of any. None of the companies that I, trust with gear, Hori, PowerA, these companies that we see do stuff for the big boys, do stuff for PlayStation. I don't know if PlayStation just has like this weird rule about their products. I don't know. But I haven't looked too far into it, and I don't use anything else other than the standard PlayStation controller. Now, let me show you my standard PlayStation controller because it is very different than what you are expecting. My standard PlayStation controller is this. It is, I believe, to be very beautiful. Some people think it's ugly, and I don't care. It is hydro-dipped, or so it would seem that is how they have been able to achieve this Japanese-style waveform on the controller, as well as the buttons and the actual underside that's usually black is wood grain, fake wood grain. Shoulder buttons are wood grain, and triggers are wood grain, and then the underside is clear. And it does have these back paddles, which do have some added functionality. Now, hear me when I say this. This controller is a PlayStation 5 controller that Hex Gaming takes and they modify the exterior case and then go ahead and mod it and add these exterior buttons. This controller, for better or for worse, this specific one, my Japanese style Wave one, is just a normal controller. I do not utilize these back buttons at all. I actually got this because it has full trigger, everything. It is full functionality. I have tried it side by side with the normal DualSense controller using Astro's Playroom. That's kind of my go-to to see if the functionality of all the different features are fully like just the full thing, because I don't want to be missing out on anything that I potentially could be missing out on as far as the experience with DualSense, because I think DualSense is the coolest. These do have swappable thumbsticks, but that doesn't matter to me. This is, for better or for worse, just a very, very beautiful controller that I don't use any of the back paddles for at all. Now, I do have a second one of these that I do use. It's just over yonder and I didn't grab it and I don't want to go get it. It is the exact same controller with the exception of the buttons here. These triggers, these L2 and R2s, are actually just trigger stops. There is no adaptive trigger. It is specifically designed and created for now 2 games. That is it. It is only there for me to play Modern Warfare 3 and Fortnite. That is it. It is like a scuff controller that was sent to me for free. It was at the time worth $319 when it was created. Now I believe they blanket it out and it's like $198 for like the flat price, or maybe it's $189. I don't know. These controllers, again, with the exception of just Fortnite and Modern Warfare 3, which is like a phase at best for me, I just use this guy because it looks great. And that's it. If I didn't have this sent to me, if I didn't have any of this sent to me, I would not have the Edge or whatever, the DualSense Edge, is that what it's called? I would actually just have a bright pink, hot pink controller. That's it, because pink's my favorite color. And Bob's your uncle. We're done. Okay? PlayStation. Again, aside from it being colored, because I like the way it looks, I just use a standard controller. Use functionality, doesn't work. Now, I know, oh, well, you still use the other one. I understand. I only use it because it was given to me. Other than that, I do not think that it's necessary unless you're someone who's like hyper competitive, and I am not hyper competitive in either of those games. I do appreciate being able to slide and jump with the triggers, with the back buttons, but honestly, it's just a regular controller. That's it. Let's talk Nintendo Switch. There are 5 controllers technically, if we're gonna be real technical, that I'm keeping for my Nintendo Switch. One is the Super Nintendo controller created by Nintendo, okay, to play Super Nintendo games. One is also because it's on display and I think it's gorgeous. 2 is the 2 NES controllers that exist. And 3 is the N64 controller, of which I use very seldomly, right? If I'm at home playing an N64 game, I will whip this out, but seldom do I use these. I do love these controllers because of the nostalgia that's tied to them, but it pretty much stays there. Also, huge shout out to my creativity when I made these 2 game vouchers just for a thumbnail. Man, I was so creative. Anyway, now I'm choosing because I know that some people would consider this controllers too. I don't, but hey, if you do, I understand. I've purchased everything that you see here. I'm choosing to omit Joy-Cons. The Joy-Cons I have here are from my special edition OLED Switch, which is my only Switch, by the way. My only Switch. I sold off my original. I also have red and blue Joy-Cons that are purchased as replacements because I really wanted that set when I first bought my Switch one. I do have the special edition Skyward Sword ones because I thought that was pretty darn cool, and I was in a time when I was trying to collect stuff. And then I have my original gray ones, which do have stick drift for the second time, and I need to send back to Nintendo so they can send me 2 new ones. Because Nintendo just sends you new Joy-Cons when you have an issue. Those are the Joy-Con situation. Now let's talk controllers. I have every single Nintendo Switch controller that 8BitDo has to offer. Okay? Every single one. I am giving away all of them to people I know because I just don't want to have all these extra things. I also have the Nixie. We'll talk about that in another video. I'm gonna talk about just hey, you know what? Cup 17, come back for 17. I'm gonna show you all the controllers that I have that I'm just giving away. I think that's gonna be a great video, okay? But finishing Cup 16 so you guys know what my everyday use is. On my Nintendo Switch, I use a Pro controller. I have one for myself. I have my original one, which is still kicking and doing great, which I've given to my wife. She uses that when she plays video games on the TV on her Nintendo Switch. This is my go-to. I have the 8BitDo Pro 2. No, not Pro 2. That's the 8BitDo Ultimate Wireless Controller. I have used it maybe half a dozen times. It's cool. It's sitting on my desk right now. I'm looking at it. It's awesome. I still choose this for 3 reasons. 1, just buttony triggers. That's it. There's like maybe 2 games that exist on the Nintendo Switch that actually utilize analog triggers. We don't need them. 2, full amiibo support as well as HD Rumble. I guess that's 2 and 3. Well, let's just say 2 is amiibo and HD Rumble, okay? And 3 is first party. This is my everyday. When I turn on my Switch, it's with this controller. That is it. I seldom use anything else, and I do use one other controller. Very, very rare cases, but I do use it. And I'll show you in just a moment. Again, I purchased this at full price because Nintendo doesn't give away anything for free. But I adore this controller. I think that is the most comfortable. I love the buttons. I love everything about it. I just turned on my Nintendo Switch on accident because that's just what happens. And this is my go-to. So this is what I use primarily for my Switch, I would say 90% of the time. And the other 10% of the time, I use the 8BitDo Pro 2. Now, I know some people are like, well, why would you use the Pro 2 over the Ultimate controller when the Ultimate controller is just better ergonomics, all this different kind of stuff, and whatever it may be, better features. I use the Pro 2 for the very reason that this is set up in a different orientation as the Nintendo Switch Pro controller. The Pro 2 has the thumbsticks symmetrical in the middle. This is also a really cool Game Boy version. It has the symmetrical thumbsticks in the middle. It has the D-pad off to the left. The D-pad is great. Do I think the D-pad on the other one is better? It may be. It's a little bigger and beefier, but I feel like the D-pad's great on this. The buttons feel good. It's primarily used, now hear me when I say this, this is primarily used for games like Link's Awakening, when you can swap in the hardware, so not hardware, in the software, in the 8BitDo Ultimate software, you can swap these two. So now the thumbstick is actually acting like or the D-pad's actually acting like the thumbstick as far as the Nintendo Switch knows, because everything's done in the software, and then you can program it to the actual controller itself. This controller is incredible when it comes to that kind of stuff. I love it. Now, here's when I said at the beginning that 8BitDo has sent me every single controller that they own. They have. Ironically, and I don't know if they do this on purpose, it was very, very much so after the fact that I had purchased every single controller that they already own over the year and a half that I was doing this. I have the 8BitDo, I have this, right? They sent me 4 other ones, of which I've given away already. I have the smaller one, which is like a Super Nintendo one, which I don't have really close. Oh wait, do I? No, I mean, here, let me. So this, it's just the Super Nintendo one. It's not ergonomic, but this I keep in my backpack. I don't need it. I've never used it once. It's been in my backpack, in my little cartridge slot, my TomTalk cartridge slot, for ever. I don't use it. So, as much as I like looking at it, it's like, oh look, it's so cool. I don't use it, so what's the point? Plus, if we're gonna be honest, this feels way better than this, and it does everything that this does, except this is a smaller form factor, but when am I ever gonna need the small form factor? I have cases upon cases for all of my gear. I have this arcade stick, which It's really dusty. I need to dust that because I don't use it like I used to. And I really, really like it. Actually, the arcade stick, I will say, that is actually the one piece of gear that they sent me that I didn't pay for. And I didn't already own one, which is really cool. Huge big ups to 8-Bit. I really like 8-Bit a lot. I have purchased the only ultimate one that I own. I actually purchased. They sent me the wired ones, which I don't think are that good. And then they have cheaper ones too, which I haven't purchased because I don't need them. I have all their tiny little itty bitties, which are really cool. My daughter likes them. I wouldn't purchase them myself because they have of no use to me. But these are the controllers, right? And so when I look at this, can you believe I'm gonna say it? This excites me. The idea of just not having all this crap, for lack of a better word. I don't need all this crap. Just having a table full of controllers underneath my desk is a waste of space, of time, of resources. And, you know, I have friends who need controllers, so, you know, I just give it to them. And I'm just gonna be upfront about this. No, I'm not going to just, if you're, can I have one of the, no, there's logistics involved with that, shipping all this stuff. No, okay. I'm gonna be giving them away to friends, and it's just personally, if you live near me and you're a friend of mine, if you have my phone number, pretty much when it comes to this kind of thing, if you have my phone number and you can call me when you're watching this video, then yes, you can have a controller. It's as simple. No, that's not, no, I'm not gonna do that one. Because I'm sure you can find my phone number somewhere, but if you know me close, you get what I'm trying to say. And what this got me really thinking of when I was looking at all this stuff is like, I'm not gonna get so existential. No, Anya? But we have too much stuff. You know? We just do. And I know that's ridiculous for me to say it when I look back here. I have all of these. I have these books that I purchased, which I read, and they make me very happy when I read them. But there's a reason why this room is looking more and more the way it does. It has literature, gaming literature specifically, because it's a passion of mine. It is having coffee gear, of which I'm upgrading to make better so I can make better coffee. And my electronic collection is decreasing as fast as I can, because I don't want all these things. I don't need all these things. And dare I say it, neither do you. The Nintendo Switch, as it stands, is good enough. I think that the gaming experience is exceptional with some sort of grip. But, Satisfy, thank you. I don't use it anymore because I just don't want extra stuff on my gear. The Satisfy Ronin one is for sure the best feeling handheld situation I can get on my Switch, but hey, nothing beats what the Switch looks like as it stands. I have Nixie's Pro Joy-Con replacements, which are cool, but I don't use them. I have the GameCube ones, which are cool, but I don't use them. I have Hori's Split Pad Compact, don't use them. All these, don't use them, you know? And there's people out there that are like, oh, I use it every day. It's my go-to. Great, dude. I have to be comfortable becoming the person, or no longer being the person who recommends gear. I have to be comfortable doing that. And I know that that comes at a cost as far as what I'm doing here in this space, but I just can't do it anymore. Because I feel like it is an obsession for me that is unhealthy. And so we switch to minimalist as much as we can. As much as we can, right? There's some elements, right? Like minimalist. I say minimalist and I have 5 controllers that I'm keeping for my Nintendo Switch, right? And I understand that it's ridiculous, but it is, you know. And there's nothing wrong with collecting. Nothing. I'm not trying to say that anything you can collect. I have Star Wars stuff. I have multiple lightsabers, by the way. Beautiful ones. I had to say no to 2 lightsabers I really wanted. I really wanted Ahsoka Tano's lightsabers from Rebels, and I was going to work with a company to send them, and I was going to do a review of their product. But then at the last minute, I pulled out because I realized that I need to stop doing that. No more reviews. They're beautiful. They're gorgeous, but just trying to get free stuff by throwing my name around and throwing my audience around is rude. I shouldn't be like, hey, I got people who will listen to me talk. Let me talk to you. So, I apologize. I don't apologize often because I think apologizing is overrated. But I apologize for using you guys and your attention to get free stuff. Sorry. We're not going to do that anymore. I can't recommend 8-Bit Dough enough. And so, what I'm going to do for you is very simple. Tell you to go to their website and buy it yourself. I would actually buy it on Amazon if I was you because it's cheaper. I'm not going to put affiliate links. I'm not going to make a buck off this. Just, you can find it. 8-Bit Dough is their household name at this point. But other than that, we're good. That's it. That's literally, these are the only pieces of hardware that I use for my gaming. That's it. I do have headsets and different things like that, but I only have one headset, which isn't the best headset out there, but it's good enough. You guys want to see what it is? I'll show you. Boom. Razer Black Shark V2s. Good enough. It plugs in wirelessly to my PlayStation 5. I can use a wireless dongle, and we're good. It also just looks like ear protection if you're going to the gun range, so I like that about it. And then I have a soft case for my Nintendo Switch, and that's it. That's literally it. And I'm just keeping it there because I want to go back to the days where we just... Ta-da! Like, dude, how awesome were those days? Now it's just like, this, these, I got this, I got all the controller number. Forget it, dude. One is done, okay? I know that there is the preparedness, which is 2 is 1 and 1 is none. I agree with that to a certain extent. But when it comes to things, 1 is more than enough. So, what it is. That's our talk for the day. Less is more, ladies and gentlemen. But when it comes to coffee, more is more. And so I drink more because it helps me feel like more of a human. So, what do you know? I cannot wait for my new gear, my coffee stuff to come in because I'm going to be able to just explode in flavor and finally upgrade to the gear that I've always wanted to use. It's going to be so great. In a conversation about you don't need a lot of things, I am talking about new gear coming in. I know, it seems ironic, but I can't wait to upgrade these tools. These tools have done so well so far, and I'm finally at a point where I get to use the big boy tools. And so that's going to be a lot of fun. That's all for me today. Thank you for letting me kind of get that off my chest. All right. See you guys tomorrow. Happy gaming.